Welcome to Eco, a new game. It's available on Steam. This definitely isn't sponsored, but I did see it and decide that it was worthwhile a look. I'm going to start this game up while I explain what it's all about. Most importantly, if you're in multiplayer mode, you don't want this setting on. You want it to one of these, depending on how many people you're intending to play with. If you're only joining a server, you don't have to worry about it, of course. It's only if you create a local server for co-op. So if you only got a couple of people, you may as well use no collaboration, low collaboration, etc., depending on the number of people. So let's just start the game and explain what Eco is all about. So as you might imagine from the name, it is about an entire ecosystem, a world that you're going to join, and you can ruin it entirely. But the object of the game is to stop a meteor from hitting your world in exactly 30 days. And that's 30 played days, so if you're in single player, that is. And so while you're playing, that's ticking down slowly. If you join a multiplayer server, that could be any point because it's running all the time. So if you join 6 hours later, it will be 6 hours less in the timer. So the season is going to be locked, for each server is going to be locked pretty much 30 days, unless you find a server that has changed that with manual settings. There are some that are just more casual. So what is it then? It's a world survival game. It has elements of, you know, your Minecrafty kind of like block building. It has entire tech tree and research tree that we need to get up through to develop the technology that you can use to stop the meteor. To start off with, of course, we're going to be starting off with a lot of the usual survival stuff. We do have to deal with hunger. Not necessarily thirst, but definitely hunger. And that is quite a unique system. It's trying to be more like real life in that it encourages you to have a balanced diet. And there are some Minecraft mods that do the same kind of thing. Rather than you just jamming apples into your mouth at a rate of knots, you can have a varied crops and stuff like that. But you'll see as we actually go through the world. So we're going to start off with our avatar. And I'm going to change my skin tone to something like my real one. Pale, unfortunately. But, yep, let's grab a beard. Not that I have one, but that will do. And blue eyes, why not? Okay, so this is only really going to affect things if you're in multiplayer. I'm not, so it's not really much of an issue. So let's just change these to sort of boring defaults. And, I don't know, red hat, why not? We don't have a hat yet, but once we do, it'll be red. Okay, so welcome to Eco Citizen. As you can see, it looks quite nice. As I was saying, it is like Minecraft in that the terrain is made up of blocks, but you'll see it sort of deforms to make it look a lot nicer than the kind of sharp-edged Minecraft. And it's quite beautiful. It reminds you of Fortnite in some ways, and just the colour scheme is quite bright. So let's just move around and just follow this tutorial. The tutorial is very easy to actually do. So tab, do SAD and space. And then it's going to say, hey, there's a meteor, so look up and find it in the sky. Now, you may not be able to see it because it orbits the world, so it depends on where you are and whether it's actually coming through. I don't think it's around at the moment. It's as big... Oh, wait, hang on. I must have seen it somewhere. It disappeared. You can also see the timer when you see it in the sky. Can't see it, but it's about as big as the sun, so it is quite large when it passes by. No, maybe you guys can see it. I've missed it. But it orbits the world, essentially, so it pops over the top and goes down the other way. All right, so we can then look at this. It's going to say open the map. Okay, find the icon. Open the side panel, select different world layers. So I'm going to choose beans, for example, and then click drop waypoint. I'm not going to do that just yet. I'm going to go and find those beans, first of all, if there is any. We've got a nice world with lots of land on it. There's some beans there. It colours in purple. Ooh, there's a lot more there. And lots of nice flattish ground. That actually might be good. So where is that from us? It's across an ocean. Or rather, around. Yeah. It's probably worthwhile me heading along the shore this way. Okay, so while we're heading over, it's not a very big world, by the way. You can traverse it in a few minutes. It's not like it's an infinite world. You're going to want to start picking up crops as you actually see them. You'll see if on my hotbar I'm picking up tomatoes at the moment. Let's just do this. And then I'll explain the hunger system. So if you look at the very bottom left of the screen, you see that little gauge down there that says plus 480. That's how many skill points you get per day if everything stays as it is. We don't make any changes. but we are going to make changes. The circular thing to the left of that, that's quite small at the moment, is sort of your stomach level, how full you are. And inside that, the 4 colours are the 4 different types of sort of components of food. So if I hover over tomatoes, you'll see it's got 3 carbs, 1 protein, 1 fat, 3 vitamins, and 240 calories. So what you want to try and do is maintain this balance of 4 equal quarters. That's not going to be perfectly possible, and certainly not at the very start, but as we get more cooking skills, we'll be able to do that. I'm just going to keep collecting tomatoes, why not? And we want to increase the size of that circle till we're full. And that 480 above it is how many skill points we get per day. So we want to maximize that. And because I'm on single player mode, that's currently starting at 480. That can go over 900. We've got lots and lots of tomatoes. That can go over 900. And that's going to need cooking skills to get to. But we will get there. And that means just your skill points, which is the blue square in the middle, is going to increase over time. Now, on multiplayer servers, you'll get a lot less points. That's going to start at around 60. Or 40 even, and you might be able to increase that to 60. We've got some wildlife. We're going to be doing some hunting later. And the idea is you want to keep that maximized so that you get more skill points. More skill points enables you to research stuff and get technology and all kinds of other stuff like that. I think we just go across here. We're almost there, actually, so it's not that far, even though it's around that so-called ocean. It doesn't take very long to traverse the world. And we've got some fish there. We can do some fishing later as well. And let's just head up in here. Let's look at the map. So we're not looking at any world layers at the moment. Let's look at beans. And you'll see an area right ahead. And we're going to look for an area of flatland to build on. Probably somewhere like here. Because we've got a river nearby, which is going to be kind of useful. And we've also got some beans in the forest. And there's also going to be huckleberries in the forest as well, which we're going to need. So, yeah, there's some huckleberries. There's usually lots of them in a forest area, so we can grab those. You can hunt down animals. That's actually much tougher than getting stuff from bushes, unfortunately. They do run away rather fast. And that is one of the tech trees. It's the hunting tech tree. So we've got plenty of stuff to be getting on with. You can jump up to 2 tall, so it isn't quite as punishing as Minecraft. You can actually get around. And we've got stone, and we've got coal here. That's all very useful. And these are beans, so I'm going to get those for starting food sources as well. Lots of the other plants you'll see around it are also resources, like these are. And can we see any more? Got some nice water mechanics going on. We will be able to build water mills and windmills and other stuff later. All right, back into the forest, and then we'll collect some more resources. And I will head towards that flat area and meet you there for that. In the meantime, I'm just going to go grab some food. In fact, how far we are from that flat area? Oh, we're right next door. We may as well just head to it. So it's going to tell us to eat food, which is what the tutorial is saying at the top left. You'll see that circle on the bottom left is getting smaller over time because the game converts your calories, your stomach fullness, whichever way you want to put it, into skill points. So that decreases your amount of available, calories. Here we are. Nice flat area with some bison. And elk over there. This looks like a good place to start. I'm not sure how close. Oh, well, I think I might actually start on this platform. Okay. So let's just rearrange things for a little bit. Let's open my backpack with B. And I'm going to move the seeds that I've picked up in here. Because we don't need those. So beans are good things to start with. So are huckleberries, which we've got 100 of. And so are tomatoes. All very nice to start with. So it's going to say eat some food, and it says eat food containing carbs, protein, fat, and vitamins. So if we hover over this, you'll see each of those 4 colours corresponds to each of the food groups. So we've got carbs, protein, fat, and vitamins. We want to keep them balanced, and that will change the multiplier that we have. So our skill multiplier is 24 at the moment, because we're quite balanced. So if I just press 9 to select huckleberries, for instance, I'll go into tab mode. If I right click, you'll see that's got to be a little bit larger, but it's unbalanced everything. Okay, so that's dropped to 416, and it's basically because huckleberries are mainly carbs and well, they're all carbs and vitamins. There isn't anything else. So it's changed this balance. So if you go to tomatoes, you'll see tomatoes has carbs and vitamins mainly, but has some protein and fat, and beans has protein and fat, but not many carbs. So you can get sources of protein from beans, and then these two will serve for the other side. So if you change to 0 for beans and eat that, you'll see that's starting to increase things again, and that the thing is becoming more balanced. See that? There we go. So we've gone a bit far now. It's gone back overbalanced the other side, but we have got more food. Let's just use some tomatoes. And now we're up to 608. A little bit far on that side. There we go. So our stomach's nearly full now. And we're going to get 624.8 skills per day. So that should do us to start off with. Worldview is going to demand that we actually finish this, or I can close that. If you don't want to do these, you can just click on that X. However, we may as well put our waypoint down here anyway, so world layers doesn't matter too much. I'm going to drop a waypoint, and if I just back off a second, you'll see there's a waypoint in the world. If I go to tab and then click on it, get rid of the map again, I can then call this home, or initial home anyway. We may move later. And we now get a new task called Claim Property. So if I open my backpack, I've got these stakes. All right, so if I put them on my main hotbar, this lets you claim property for, well, it's mainly for griefing in multiplayer. So if we want to claim this plot, for example, this one, we can right click. You see I've claimed this property. And I can extend this, and it just means sort of that the griefing won't actually occur. Why can't I place more? Why can't I place one here? Oh, yes I can. Need to move a little bit further. Okay, and that's the last one. You get more of those claims over time, and you'll see if I right-click here, this is sort of the deed for this property. If there are other people on the server, you could search them through them here and give them permission for making changes on your deed, you know, digging the land up and such. And then we'll also have other things later for controlling storage. So we now have 3 new tasks: chop down a tree, digging and mining. So if we just click on each of those, it's going to give us some tools. And I'm just going to put that deed back in my backpack. And then I'm just going to rearrange these tools a little bit, just the way I prefer them. And we're going to do a few things. So let's just dig something up just to show you. It is cubic based. So if I wanted to smooth this terrain out a little bit, let's pop over here for a second. I can just grab some from here by digging, left click. You dig one at a time. We will get ways to deal with that to be better in future, but to start off with, you start with the simplest tools. Oops, I put them in the wrong place. There we go, and you'll see the terrain deforms quite nicely. Okay, now it's going to say mining, so luckily we have some stone right here. And we can just hit this. And it's going to break into pieces that are small enough for us to carry. Now, note that's carry, not put in a hotbar or inventory system. So if I pick these up, you'll see there's a special area of the toolbar at the bottom left of the toolbar that says carrying stuff. And we can only carry up to 20, at least to start with. And that sort of means that I can't do anything else. I can't pick up anything else that needs to be carried until I place these back down. So we can just place them back down like this. And we can make a stack. That's going to change pretty quickly. We're going to have a stockpile, but don't worry. So that works very well. And now it's going to say you need to chop down a tree. Now, one point to note on trees, at the moment, the only trees you can get seed from are cedars and birches. So this is a cedar. You know, it's got squarish kind of leaves. That's an oak, so we can't get seeds from that. There's more cedar around. There's also birch, but birch has a white trunk. I don't think there's any nearby here that I can show you immediately, but it looks very, very similar to this, but with a white trunk. And then there's fir, and fir you can't get seeds from either. So oak and fir ignore as far as seeds are concerned, but cedars, if you want to get seeds, or at least a chance of seeds, you can hit the leaves with an axe. Now, I didn't get any seeds then, but you may get some in future. So you may want to leave the cedars alone until you got some better skills at gathering the seeds. In the meantime, however, we need to chop something down, so we may as well chop a fir down. We can't actually get any better result than this to start off with. So we just keep hitting this with an axe. We will get better at this, of course, over time. You get better skills by getting better skill points and investing those. So that's fine. It's glitching out a little bit. Let's just actually chop this up a little bit. There we go. There go the branches. There's a bit of a bug with that one branch. Oh no, it's gone. It's gone. Okay. Physics. And we're just going to chop this into pieces. Just like the stone, when they are green, you can pick them up. And when they're yellow, well, you need to chop them again. And just like the stone, these are things you have to carry, so you can't put them in your inventory when they're like this. You'll see I can carry 18, but this is over 2, so obviously I can't carry any more, and you can't split them easily. Not to start with, anyway. And we can place these down here, just temporarily. Okay. And now you get a task called Process Raw Logs. So this is creating a workbench. This is your very first, and we're going to be using a lot of these, sort of tool station. So we can just pop it down wherever we like. We can always move it later. And I've placed it the wrong way, haven't I? Don't worry, we'll get a hammer soon that we can remove it. So we press E, and it says there's all these recipes. And these are only the starting recipes, so this will expand. There's lots and lots of stuff in this game. So in here we use hewn logs, and it's going to say, hey, make some of these. So I'm just going to say order 50. And it says you're going to need 100 logs to make 50. So if you press order, it's going to create this at the bottom, and it's going to take 12 seconds per log, and it's missing 100 logs. So if we go over here, we can then pick these up with E again. And you could even have done that while you were holding these. I just wanted to demonstrate we can put them down. Walk over to your workbench and right click, and in they go. And your workbench is going to, all by itself, it's a magic workbench, it's going to start working and producing these hewn logs. It's now saying we're missing 82, so we can go and chop down some trees. Also, the task is now changed to, hey, once it finishes, then collect the logs. Okay, but I'm going to need to chop down more trees. However, at the same time, you'll notice that chopping down the trees has decreased our amount of calories that we have available. So, like Stardew Valley or Harvest Moon or those kind of games, we can't do anything if we run out of calories. It's not going to kill us, but we're going to need more calories, which means you'd have to go and forage. And it's getting a little dark, so why don't I cut to the next day so you can see things a little better. Oh, we've still got some wood left. Actually, let's go and just drop those back at our workbench. And there we go. So I did 16 logs. It still needs 66 logs, you can see in the center of the screen. Okay. Right, let's cut to daytime. Okay, now that it's daytime, we're going to collect our logs, and it's going to give us a new task. So let's just pop in here. And let's say we want to collect everything. Again, we can only carry so many, so we'll have to go back for more. But it's going to say we're going to need to build a log house. Now, houses are important because certain tool stations, crafting stations, need to be inside a room, inside a house effectively. So we're going to need to build one. Doesn't much matter how you build the initial house because we're going to be rebuilding it over time. But to do it, change to your hammer, which will let us move other things like the workbench if we wanted to by left clicking. And you'll see to the left of where I'm carrying the block it's currently going to build, and you'll see it in front of me. This is more of a roofing or a floor block. So if we shift and then scroll wheel, we currently have access to the wall block. So we can decide where we want our door. To be honest, I may not want to go down there as kind of the doorway. So maybe we should place this over here a little bit. And we're going to leave a little bit of space for the stockpile. We'll see that soon. So if we start out, let's just place it here. Oops, place right click. And then maybe our door is going to be something like there. Okay, and then we can just build out from that, and everything will automatically reform when you get things in the right place. So we've got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And on this side, we're going to do the same thing. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then we should be able to hook everything else together. We just need more logs. That's why I built 50 to start off with. We're going to need even more than that, but this will get us started. Collect more. And we can just complete the kind of outside frame. So it isn't 9x9 and it isn't Minecraft, but it is a 7x7. And of course, each of these is a certain size. You don't need to put a floor down, so you can save on that. What you may want to do is, however, build upwards to place the corners, just so you have a way to easily target them in future. It doesn't matter what they look like for the moment. And then we're probably going to want to place the roof as well, so we may as well place at least one roof block down. And I don't have the range to do it here, but let's just change to this. Go up 2, 1, and then let's change to the roof block. Let's get an idea, so we can extend the roof blocks out from that, like this. And they cost the same, so it's not like you're spending any more. That's 2 batches. How many do I have left? 10. Okay. So it's definitely not going to be enough to complete my house, but you get the idea. And let's just actually assemble this side. And one more. And it'll be a flat-topped log cabin once we're finished. So I'm going to order some more, and it's going to then... in fact, no, let's not order more for just yet, because I want to choose something else. It's going to say choose roles. Now, choose roles, this is more about the skill system, and we haven't covered this yet, so it's worthwhile covering it. If you click on this blue button, then you'll see I've got 647 with a fairly even balance. Our multiplier probably won't be great. Its balance multiplier is 1.9. Skill multiplier is 24. So yeah, we can get much better than that by going into food. So we have survivalist here, which is our first profession. And specialities are kind of sub-professions, if you like. So if you go into chef, for instance, there's campfire cooking. And each of these, when you first start, won't cost us anything in this mode, certainly. However, once you go into the tree itself, that will start costing skill points. So if we go to this level 0, basic crafting, level 0 is what we currently have. So the next sort of recipe up will let us craft stone axes and pickaxes, construction posts and repair stations. Level 2 is a wooden shovel. Level 3 is a scythe. So we're probably going to want at least up to the scythe to gather wheat. And yeah, certainly that, at least that far. So I'm going to spend into level 3, and that will open up the next one, which is efficiency. So that increases the cost, and then the third one down tends to be speed. So that increases the speed that your crafting station can work at. Here we have research efficiency. We'll come back to that. Don't worry about that just yet. And then we have this. So this basically lets you increase your carry weight. And then this increases your calorie, maximum calories. So let's just actually take one level in each of those, and you'll see the next level has gone up to 5, and that's quite high. And then calorie efficiency, that's the calorie cost to actions. I'm going to put 1 point in that as well, because those are the cheap upgrades before things get, and one more there. And one more there. So those are the cheap upgrades before things start getting more expensive. Now, if you're in multiplayer, you will only get the option to really specialize in one of these professions. Because each profession, let's say chef, has all these specialities, and each of them has their own tree. And each item in the tree has multiple levels, etc., etc. On single player, hopefully I should have enough skill point gain per day to get all of them. At least I really hope so. But to start off with, one of the first things we're going to ensure that I have is chef. So I'm going to take this campfire one. And because each of these don't actually cost anything to do, I think at least, let's just make sure I get each of these. That's logging damage. That's more damage per swing, I think. So that will be worthwhile doing. And that's processing speed. That is the same thing. And then woodworking, we can make various things. Okay, I'm not too interested in that just yet. We're probably going to want farming and gathering in particular. So woodland, forest forager, yeah, that's, I think, increases the harvest you get from tree seeds. So that's one thing I'm definitely going to take. Each of these are more expensive, however, unfortunately, but it did give us a free scythe. And this is going to be the case in a fair bunch of other things as well. So, for example, does digging give us a free shovel? Yeah, an iron shovel. So if you want those, and you don't want to keep that, so if you don't want to keep these, you can remove it again. But because you haven't spent in the tree yet, I think you keep your tools. So that's a free way of getting an extra set of tools. I'm not going to worry too much about it because I need those tools anyway, and I'm going to go into the various trees. You'll notice the rest of these say not researched, and that's where we need the research table, but that will come later. So I'm going to look into a couple of the others. So Tailor, don't worry about, that's more about decoration, which will get this second gauge going. Smith, Mason, all good. Yeah, all the rest are good. Engineer, not just yet, but carpenter will be worthwhile. So let's take the logging one and the hewing one. And as you can see, it's given us more tools. And then mason, I guess we're going to need to take mining and mortaring. Okay, so I can open up all of those. However, at the moment, I don't have anything to store all this stuff in, so I don't want to take them all just that quickly. Is that iron? It says there's iron. Did we get an iron one initially? Stone. Okay, we want the iron one, I think. Iron axe. Yep. Let's just grab that and put the stone one away. And an iron shovel. Now, you will need a repair tool, a repair table to fix these, but that's not so big a deal. We will get to that fairly soon. What will be a bigger deal is the actual iron itself. We'll need to be able to smelt it somehow. So, to continue, I'm going to keep doing this between the episodes. I'm going to go get more wood, more stone. Well, can we actually build a stockpile yet? Let's have a look. Stockpile. Yes, we can. Okay, so we need 4 logs for that. So let's actually go and build that before I end the episode, because this is the first really big, nice thing that you can get. And I've chopped some wood over here. Yeah, we can still only carry 20, unfortunately. And let's put those in. And I'm going to need to place these down for now. So let's just put them here. Okay. How long are you going to take to build? 30 seconds. That's going to take long at all. Yeah, so what do you guys think while that's actually building? This is a kind of boring start, but it is definitely only a start. You quickly progress through things. Now, of course, on the multiplayer, you'll enjoy it a lot more. You'll obviously have lots of people helping you do this kind of thing with various specializations. Let's just pop in here. Are you finished? 8 seconds, not very long at all. So let's look at some of the other recipes. We've got a repair station. That's only 8 stone. We've got some over here on the right-hand side and 16 logs. So we could order that as well. The research table, that's the first one that really needs to be inside a house. So you need to have the house ready first. Other things you're going to need is a carpentry table and a campfire. So again, they're both stone and wood. And possibly a bow and arrow, but we don't have boards yet for a bow. I think we get a free bow for the hunting profession, so we don't have to worry about one initially, but we can just make arrows with logs. And then all the stone tools, we can make more of them. And a storage chest. I'm going to order one of those as well. And let me just collect this stockpile. Now, you may be tempted to think a stockpile, you need lots of them. You don't. It's quite large. Doesn't much matter where you put it as such, but one thing you want to do, and one thing that I need to introduce to you, is the concept of proximity. So if you build this nearby to, and that's why we're going to move that. Crafting table. I want to put this down somewhere. Let's say here. Yeah. So as you can see, it's a big area that's cordoned off. If I move this over here as well, in fact, yeah. Oh, it's got active projects. Let's go in here and just cancel this for a second. Yep, because I haven't added any materials to it. Let's pick it up. And let's put it over here somewhere. It doesn't much matter where, but just for ease, I'm just going to put it right next to the stockpile. And I'm going to reorder that chest. Where's the chest? Storage chest. And we have the ingredients for that, I think, here, so I can pick them up. Is that 8? Okay, I'm back. I can pick it all up now. So if you pick up any of the materials that we've just been stacking manually up, and you just right-click on the stockpile, it's just going to add them all to the stockpile. And there we go. So anything that you carry can go in here, and it'll automatically fill and actually start piling upwards and upwards. Eventually you'll need another one, but you'll have a lot of materials before you need another one. Anything nearby, like a workbench, if you go to the storage tab, you can tell it what it can actually pull from or push to. So much like Factorio or any other system, instead of putting belts in all over the place, as long as it's close by, you can say, hey, put any finished stuff or drag any materials from the stockpile. So you don't need to actually deal with, manually adding it to your workbench. And the same thing is going to be true for the storage chest. It can be pushed to by these workbenches. Now, one quick note. Remember when I said this can only hold carried items? That's why you need the chests. So stuff that goes in your inventory will only go in chests. So, you need to have a chest to be able to take stuff like, in fact, even like this. Remember, this storage chest isn't a carried item, so it needs to go into a chest. We don't have a chest yet, so it's going to need to be collected manually. However, once you have one, then everything else still start going into it. And we're also going to order a campfire, I think, because that's going to be needed for food, but I'll cover cooking food in the next episode. We've got 4 of the 8 stone needed, and we got more than enough wood, so let me just go and grab a little bit more stone. I think there was some over here, wasn't there? Just down here. Yeah. And again, we can just add it to our stockpile. It gets taken immediately. And is our storage chest finished? Yes, it is. So we can grab that. Put that next to here, rotate it around. And now anything, if we just go back to the workbench and we go to storage, we can untick this to stop it from going into that chest, or leave it ticked to make, finished products go into there. The reason why you want to untick it is if you want to keep things sorted into the right place. So if you had a campfire with a chest near it, you'd only want the linked inventory maybe to be that chest, and then maybe a chest on the other side for ingredients. So you'd have raw on one side and cooked on the other, that kind of... no, in fact, I don't think you can do that. You just have a chest for raw and cooked, and it would just pull from, push to, and it would never end up accidentally in this one. That said, you can always get to the other storage units on your plot or your area, just because you can just see them all in this one thing, in the storage tab. Is that the campfire finished? Yes, it is. So let's pop the campfire down, maybe somewhere, let's keep it a little bit separate from the rest of the stuff, maybe there. Okay, so the campfire is where we can cook things, and the initial thing we're probably going to cook, we don't have any skills yet, no, we don't have any skills yet. We're going to want to take, to be able to make campfire beans and charred beet, so that needs campfire cooking 3, and charred corn maybe, stuff like that. That are just simple stuff we can pick up from the ground, charred tomato, etc. That's all the campfire cooking tab. So if we just go into here, you'll see we're up in points again. So if I go into chef, campfire, and then if I just increase this to max level, in fact, I'll get all the recipes, and I'll be able to order stuff from here. So if I want charred tomato, then I can order 3 of those. Press order. And it's going to take 3 minutes to do it. But we just need some coal now, or logs. Let's just take some logs to start this off. Is it close enough for that? It might be, actually. Let's just link you up. And just drag the logs in. And you can hear the fire in the background. So we've got a fire cooking. We've got some charred tomatoes, which will obviously be better for us than eating the regular kind. So with that, and nightfall coming, I'll call the end to this first episode. Next one, we're probably going to look at more at food, gathering, and obviously I'll have a house completed. We'll start talking about research and other such things. Hope you'll join me then. Hope you enjoyed this episode. Feel free to subscribe, like, share, etc. as normal. And as always, thanks for watching.